On an important free resource for veterans, the VA Health and Benefits app. The tool is like a one-stop shop for veterans. It allows them to view or cancel VA medical appointments, send and receive messages from healthcare providers, and download VA benefit letters to provide veteran status or disability payments. Veterans can also manage existing VA claims, find the closest VA medical centers, and get quick access to the VA crisis line. You can download the Health and Benefits app on your iPhone or at the Google App Store, or wherever you normally get your mobile apps. If you already use this app, please share your feedback on your phone's app store. That's the VA Health and Benefits mobile app. I'm Mike Richmond.
I applied for this job because I wanted to cut loose and shake my rump.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Turnbuckles and stogies! Yo, what is up? What is up? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning. It is me, the BIGDOG, BOSSDOG, baby, both spots. Let's just get right into it. I'm here with my son, the Vanilla Gorilla, and my man, my best friend, the OG Cigar Tender. What is up, everybody? How's everybody's Sunday going?
Good morning.
What is up? What is up? So today we have a special guest with us. We're going to start the show early because we told him we'd bring him on, and he's been in the box since 7:45, so
something like that.
We're gonna that's Jesse from Apex Wrestling,
the owner
of Apex Wrestling out of North Carolina. And Jesse, we're gonna come right back to you. We normally start our show talking about wrestling
and cigars, and then we kick it over to our interview.
Kick it over to you. So give us a few minutes. We'll be right there. So,
hey, do what you got to do, man. I'm just happy to be here.
OG, what are you smoking today?
Man, I got nothing lit up right now.
Nothing.
Well, then you're behind the 8 ball.
Well, I'm still recovering from a little bit of a cold. Just got my voice back today, so I got to ease back into it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm smoking the McAuliffe Torsadores Churchill box pressed.
And I'm smoking a McAuliffe Torpedo Torsador.
Yes.
Nice.
These are, I believe they're Naturals is the wrapper. This is just another brand that, as you know, OG, you can't find in New York. It's very hard to find.
Very, very hard to find. Yeah, matter of fact, you got to order it online.
Well, no. When you come down, we can go to Kevin's. He has them.
I'll take you to Connecticut when you come down. We'll go out there.
Just bring your credit card. It's going to be a kid in the candy store. I told you that before.
Yeah, it's gonna cost a little bit of money for you, but you'll enjoy it.
You'll be like, wow, I didn't see these in that store. I didn't see these in that store. I didn't see these. You'll walk out with like 3
I mean,
bags.
you know me. I'm a cheapskate. I don't spend anything when I go down, right, guys?
Yeah, no, not at all. No,
not at all. Not at all.
I will tell you that I did go looking for the Bloche Boulevard by West Tampa. The kid said it hadn't shipped yet. I know it's out because stores have it. Just don't know if he's gotten it yet. The owner
Okay.
wasn't there, so I couldn't ask him because I did. That was my sole purpose for going there yesterday, was to go see if I can get my hands on that because I've been really, really interested in it. But the guy said it didn't ship, although he does have the new Cinco de Cinco, the Hoya de Nicaragua, the green label.
Mm-hmm.
He does have that. He does have
Okay.
that. I did see it. I didn't pick it up.
Awesome.
But he does have it.
So let's talk
So
about.
tell me about this. Tell me about those smokes you got lit up. Tell me a little bit about it. What kind of wrapper? What are the notes you're getting from it?
McAuliffe is a rich gentleman out of Texas. He's been doing this,
What? 30
30,
some odd
40,
years?
50 years. But his cigars, I found him on Facebook, and we went to a event about 4 years ago out in Pennsylvania. We went to a warehouse that doesn't open to the public. They open to the public on Black Friday. So what did I do? I bought tickets. We left here, I don't know, 5:30 in the morning.
4-hour ride.
We got out there by 8. There were already people sitting in their chairs. So what I do, I pulled up my chair, whipped out the liquor, and started smoking. And then we go inside. We go inside the warehouse, and that's where we met half the people that we know.
Actually, when we did with the first time we had these was, I was just thinking about it. That was where we were able to pick them up. The first time we had it was Smoke In.
Yes,
was their Cigar of the Month Club bag.
Cigar of the Month Club.
I think it was the Matafina.
This is I'm gonna say it's a natural wrapper.
Let me pull it up and get you the correct stuff because I think it's a natural. I don't know much about this smoke as far as like binder, filler. I never really looked into it, but
you know what?
As far as I know, it's a natural wrapper. This is one of their budget smokes. They're everyday $5-6 cigars. Just like this one here is the A. This is their 6x60. It's the same thing. It's like $5 to $8 a stick.
And for you guys that don't know, they just
merged with All Saints, which
just merged with McAuliffe.
I just happen to have, in my hand out of pure luck. I just happen to have that in my hand. Who knew?
So yeah,
I don't think anybody believes that.
Good thing they don't believe that. Otherwise, I'd be a fucking millionaire.
He's out of Texas. He's an older guy. Great smoke. He has a collection that he put together. It's called the McAuliffe Collection, and it's all of the cigars that he smokes.
Well, a lot of there are some that were made for him.
Right.
Then the rest of them are like kind of his legacy lines, which is like the Leyenda, I believe the Torcedores, which is like their Torcedores, which is what we're smoking, is their bundled smoke. It's their bundle stick, which is usually 20 to 25 a bundle. But I mean, for $5-6 a stick, I went one day and picked up all their different sizes. I think it cost me $50 for like 6 cigars for all of their Torcedores. But the A comes in a Churchill, which was the first size that I had of the A, which is a Maduro. They come in boxes. They also come in bundles. But it's one of those cigars that when I went to that shop, the owner, who knows me well enough, doesn't hold anything back from me. He's just like I am. When it comes to certain cigars, he tells you how it is. And even he said to me, he goes, you should pick that up and try that. He goes, because you can't go wrong with it. And that was the only size I was smoking. And then we went yesterday again, just. And
by the way, you can become an ambassador for McAuliffe. You just got to sign up.
Yes.
They send you a coin. I got 2 coins. So I'm an ambassador twice.
I have a coin for it somewhere. I have to find it.
Yeah, I got mine. I got mine somewhere.
Yeah, I have a McAuliffe coin somewhere. I don't remember where it is. It's in one of my many collections of bags and swag and whatever else you want to say that I have. I have a whole table full of stuff next to my humidor. Cutters, lighters, ashtrays, boxes, cigar stands, patches, poker chips. But this is a good cigar. I like it.
Okay, so what we are smoking, I'm going to give you the Churchill brand, but it's the same
Well, it's the same thing either way.
So it's a mild and medium strength. The Torpedo's a 6x52, and the Churchill is a 7x54. The wrap is a San Andreas Sumatra. The binders are Honduras, and the fill is Nicaraguan Republic, Dominican Republic, and Peru.
That's these? Or do these come in a Maduro?
No, that's them.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that these were.
Yes.
I didn't know that these were San Andreas.
It's a San Andreas
Sumatra. I thought these were a natural.
Honduras binder, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, and Peru filler. That's
So
why it
for
tastes
those
so
who-
fucking good.
For those who haven't had McAuliffe, I would suggest seeing if you can get your hands on them. I know Smoke Inn sells them. I believe Famous might even sell them, but they're in a lot of retailers, but they're very hard to get a hold of, if that makes any sense.
So now let's get into a little bit of wrestling. So Jay and Jimmy Uso can now do the yeet. It's been satisfied, which means they gave the guy some money. That's what that means to me. What do you think, OG?
Yeah, it's this whole bloodline thing is really interesting. I didn't think Jay had it in him to kind of be an individual star. I always thought that maybe he was the guy that always needed people around him, a bloodline, a tag partner. But man, Jay proved me wrong. Man, he got the money when he went to Raw, and he's living up to everything that he personally believed in himself. And I don't know. I'm not sure how many people believed in him at first, but man, when he went on his own on Raw, he just took off, and I'm a believer now. I believe in Jay. The bloodline is probably the greatest faction in I won't go as far to say all of wrestling ever, but definitely in WWE, in my opinion. That's kind of where I got my stand on Jay. I'm not really sure on the others yet. I still think Roman Reigns needed the bloodline. Roman Reigns needs Paul Heyman. I'm just not a believer in Roman Reigns.
Good, but even when he was with the other group,
the Shield,
he needs the Shield. Yeah.
You notice Daniel Bryan. Not Daniel.
Dean Ambrose
and Seth Rollins are the ones that did like the interviews and stuff. And he just stood back there, shook his head. But I got to tell you, do you realize that the Samoan dynasty is the biggest family in professional wrestling today?
Oh yeah, I listen. That's
no one bigger than them.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just talking about my particular views on Roman Reigns. I mean, you look at all the champions that have been in wrestling over the years. Yeah, you had guys like Ric Flair. Rick really didn't need anybody to intervene in his matches and help him out. Did he from time to time? Absolutely.
I mean, manager because Rick could talk circles around anybody and everybody. It didn't matter who you were.
And it took the WWE universe to really come around to Roman Reigns. And listen, I get it. He's got a pretty smile. He's a good-looking Samoan. I mean, hey, but if you want to talk about champion, like who champions are and what champions represent in wrestling, in my opinion, Roman Reigns is not it.
I agree.
They oversell.
He does not defend it like he should. And, most champions that are champions, and we can go back to Dusty Rhodes, we can go back to Ric Flair, we can go back to Sting, we can go back to Blackjack Mulligan and all them guys. They didn't need a mouthpiece. They were the mouthpiece. They might have had, listen, you might have had Classy Freddie Blassie, God rest his soul. I love my man to death. I met him several times. Him and Lou And Lou's my Uncle Lou.
Lou was like an uncle to me, man.
My Uncle Lou is he was the man, and Uncle Lou would tell you, "Shut up, I got this," and then all he would tell you is say one word, and that's it. And you say that one word, Ox Baker. I had Ox Baker.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
up in
they're just
Mass, and let me tell you, Ox Baker standing there, he's calling the shots. He's like, put him in a headlock, body slam him, throw him out, and I'm standing there like, holy shit, he's like throwing the spots out. But that was the late great Ox Baker. He didn't care. He didn't care.
Well, listen, I think I'm going to be blackballed for this, and people won't like what I have to say about this. But Hulk Hogan tarnished his name and who he was, in my opinion, as a champion that won clean. And, when he started his faction with, what was it? NWO. Like, listen, Hogan was a great champion. He didn't need NWO. I mean, I know they were trying to turn him heel. I get that. But, listen,
needed him. That's what it was.
Yeah, I know. But what am I saying is for Hogan, he didn't need that.
So now, here's my
Hulkamania is bigger than NWO.
Hulkamania was, but
you got to change with the times.
What's the one thing that Hogan never did?
Never became a heel.
Hogan never turned heel, and that's because
Vince.
I don't think he needed to.
Vince made him a megastar.
I don't think he needed to.
I personally think him being a face was great. He ran the company for so long. He was a megastar.
When he became Mr. USA.
When he turned heel in the 90s in the NW. I mean, look, they turned Kevin Nash and Scott Hall heel along with Hogan. All they ever were baby faces. They went heel, and I think personally it added to their legacy because it showed they could do both sides.
Listen, I see that point of view. I'm not saying you're wrong. I disagree. I think
a heel when he was.
I know.
Economics, and then like Jim Cornette said on a podcast a while back, I think it was Jericho's podcast. Cena's a babyface, so somebody asked him why won't they ever turn Cena heel, and like he said, just like Hogan, if I was their banker in the WWE, I wouldn't want them to turn him heel.
Right.
Because if you turn him heel, you might lose all those merch sales and those millions and millions and millions of dollars that I'm sure he's making them without even being there right now.
Well, I just think there are characters over time that can hold who they are in their character for an extended period of times. I always felt like Hulk Hogan was that guy. He didn't need to go heel. He was Hulk Hogan.
Let's go to the Undertaker. See how the Undertaker changed with the times. He went from the Undertaker to Dead Man.
Oh, there's my buddy.
To Badass, to the Brothers of Destruction. So and I watched the interview with Mark, and Mark said, listen, we've had this conversation last week, OG. You have to change with the times, because you know what? Listen, I could be big dog for 25 years. I could come out with my uncle stuff on, the Moondog stuff, but guess what? A lot of these young kids don't know the Moondogs. Now I got to change into their gimmicks. I got to change into what they see a pro wrestler as now. You know what I mean? So I got to come out.
Yeah. Listen, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm saying they're just characters over time in pick the wrestling brand that are so captivating and universal. Like Hulk Hogan didn't need to. Yes, at times he switched to quote unquote a heel, but never the extreme of NWO. Hulk Hogan didn't need NWO. He could have been a bad guy on his own.
Well,
he didn't need a faction to help him with that, in my opinion.
Rich Coop just said NWO helped so many wrestlers get noticed and added to their carriers. Hulk Hogan started that or doing what he did as a star, and he pushed a lot of wrestlers, which is true. He did. He pushed a lot of wrestlers. I mean, he pushed guys that weren't going to get a push. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with any of this.
Does anybody remember that Hulk Hogan used to work on the docks? And you know who found him? The person that found him brought him in. He was a dock worker. He was fucking slinging hay and all that shit you put on the boats. And he found him and said, I think you'd be a great professional wrestler. And he goes, you know, and they go, what's your name? He goes, Terry Bollea. They go, no, we got to change that. And that's how they came up with Hulk Hogan. You know, and I mean,
yeah, listen, again, I'm not telling anybody that they're wrong. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm correct. I'm just giving you my point of view that Hulk Hogan's one of those characters, in my opinion, that did not need to do that. I go back to, I'm an old guy. Here's a guy who didn't have to do that either, Superstar Billy Graham. He was Superstar Billy Graham. He didn't need any other gimmick than who he was.
You could say the same thing.
That's just my point with Hogan.
You could say the same
Jesse
thing
Ventura.
for Jesse Ventura. I didn't.
So, like my man Apex said, he said they tried to turn Hogan heel when he went up against The Rock, but Hogan came out and the crowd treated him like a babyface. Him and The Rock swapped roles in that sense, and that's a great conversation to hear. We will hear about that. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a commercial break. Yo, do me a favor, ring that bell.
I ring my bell. I ring mine.
Hey, it's Michelle from Park Lane Tobacconist. Come on down for a great selection of pipe tobaccos, cigars, accessories, you name it. Come on down and check us out. I want to thank Turnbuckles and Stogies for promoting us on their program, and back to them at MBR Radio.
Welcome back. So we are back. Boss Dog, Big Dog, the OG cigar tender, and the one and only Vanilla Gorilla. And today we are joined by the CEO, the founder, and a veteran of the United States, Mr. Jesse himself from Apex Championship Wrestling out of New Bern, North Carolina. Jesse, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. I think you're giving me a little too much credit with the CEO portion, though, I got to say.
Well, hey, you own it, so you're the CEO, brother. I mean, unless the wife has a stake in this thing, then,
Well, she's married to me. She has a stake in everything, so, I mean.
Yeah, she's the boss.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and the Federation.
Well, I don't even know where to begin to tell about myself, honestly. I'm just a big nerd, really. That's and a big ball of it. I'm just a nerd.
He said, "I'm a nerd."
I pretty much come from nothing, and I pretty much still come from nothing. Always had a hard time growing up with my dad, jumping from place to place. Watching him have his own businesses and then having to close them down for one reason or another. But yeah, man, I just love life. I treat it to the fullest, man. That's pretty much me. I'm the biggest teddy bear you can meet, or I could be your worst enemy at the same time, So, I mean.
So thank
you for your service, brother. I appreciate it. What branch were you in, my friend?
I was Army. I was in the infantry.
Fantastic. I was not in the infantry, but I was in the Army as well. I was in the medical field. I worked in the operating. I'm in the MASH units. Well, there's no more MASH units anymore, but that's what I was. That's how long ago I was in the military. I was actually went from Army to Army Reserves, and I was actually here in Albany. We were in the very last MASH unit, the 364th out of Albany, which disbanded, I think, I can't even tell you when, 10 plus years ago. But anyway, I just want to thank you for your service and go Army.
Yeah, they beat Navy
Yes. Oh,
yesterday,
yes. Let's
so
talk
I'm
about
happy
that
about that.
Let's talk about that game because I watched that
We'll
whole
talk
game.
about that in a little while.
Hold on. So let's talk about that game, being that we got two Army vets on here. So, what do you think of that quarterback, Daly? That kid is a beast. That
Now,
kid
I will
did nothing but keep running.
Yeah, I will be the first to admit that I could not watch the game yesterday. I was keeping track of the score. But from what I hear, I mean, I heard good things all around. And some bad things, but I heard good things all around.
The tough part about any of the branch college football teams are the fact that the talent pool is kind of thinned down a little bit from the military. You don't have that broad exposure that the rest of college football has. But that being said, if any of the branches can get their act together and recruit some athletes, and they could really make a splash in college football. The Army, man, I watched 3/4 of that game, and Army defense is actually pretty solid for a bunch of no-namers, and their quarterback is really solid. The problem is he doesn't have any other pieces around him, so he's got to kind of, they got to build that offense around Dinkin and Duncan. A lot of running. Army does a lot of running, and it's going to be tough. Yeah.
Well, OG now will be part of the Big Ten starting next year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think.
They're going to be part of the Big Ten next year.
The Big Ten is a deep conference.
Part of the Big Ten.
The Big Ten is a deep and it's a deep.
I'm going to be torn when they go up against Michigan. I'll tell you that.
I was just going to say, not only is it a deep conference, it's a strong conference. It's a very
really strong.
Conference, loaded with teams.
Good morning, Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie, my man, what's up, bro?
So let's get back to my man Jesse here. So Jesse, who trained you and how long you been wrestling?
So I was originally trained by Charles Durning, whose ring name is Draven Blaze. His father was Jesse Durning, who used to be one of I don't know if there was multiple, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he at one point played the Dark Patriot in the WCW at one point, his father. So I was trained by him, and Charles Durning is also a fellow Army veteran as well. But he did real good with me. He got me started, got me going. I have nothing but respect for the man. And actually, after a while, I kind of give it up because at the time, my daughter's mother, when I was still with her, and my father kept saying, well, you need to get out of it. It's a real dumb way to make money, this, that, the other thing. And I was like, oh, whatever, make everybody happy, leave it for a little while. Then I moved down here and I met one of my good friends, and he was starting his own promotion, but he had trained and done his stuff. And I said, hey man, I got some ring rust, can you help me shake it off? And he's like, yeah, man. So I started, kind of shaking ring rust off, and as payment to him, I was reffing some of his shows, or his only show as of right now, but I reffed his show for free. I was trying to be one of his office guys and help him out because he's like, I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. I just want to point and say yes or no. So I was like, all right, man, I got you. So I did a bunch of different things for him as hey, thank you for this because I can't afford what you want in payment. So let me offer you a service.
Right. So now, with that being said, I see a lot of stuff hanging up in the back
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about all that stuff, all that memorabilia you got hanging up in the back.
So everything I got is so I got my boots, my pants, my shirt, my ring shirt, and my vest. Aside from my boots, I'm the kind of guy that likes to try to save money. Because if I had the money, as you guys were advertising, I have a GoFundMe. If I had the money, I'd have the ring. But I like to try to save money, so I try to make what I can for my gear. So Army Navy store, the old BDUs, Walmart. What is it? Tank top. And this is actually when I was doing Civil War reenacting. This was my old shirt, Civil War reenacting shirt, that I just cut up into a vest. So I mean, it looks the part that I need to look it. I do have this fancy thing. I heard you guys before we started the show talking about this. So this is my ring bell that I made for Apex.
That's awesome.
Literally just got a fire bell off of Amazon and it works. So
nice. I like it because it's got that old school look.
Right. Yep. That's Now the chair behind me.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me do this announcement. So anybody wants to text and call 720-619-0627. 720-619-0627. You can text and call in. We're taking calls, so feel free to text us or call us. We prefer to call if you want, so we can talk to you and have you on live streaming. So please text and call 720-619-0627. Back to you, Jesse.
Yeah. So and then just to tell you a little bit about this, it's real quick. My buddy during his promotion's first show, I reffed his hardcore match for him, which was for the heavyweight title. At which point, at some point in the match, I was speared through plywood as the ref, and knocked out. Had the other ref come drag me out. Got me to the back, and I'm in pain watching the monitors, and I watched my buddy get suplexed into two chairs, and this is one of the chairs he was suplexed through. And after the show, I said, "You know what, man? You did good for your promotions debut, this and that. I'm taking that chair as a souvenir."
Nice. Yeah. So, a lot of people don't realize, man, if I've saved everything I've been put through and everything I've been hit with, I'd have no room.
Right.
I've been doing this 25 years, and it's incredible how you and I met. I seen a post on one of the Facebook groups.
Sent it to me.
Sent it to him. He hooked up with you, and then we made the phone call, and that's how Jesse and I met. And hoping to work for the guy, and we can bring this guy with us here. This guy over there,
the co-host,
the co-host. We can
that guy up in the corner, that other guy.
Oh, there we go.
That guy. That guy who's sitting there with his arms folded.
He could do ring announcing or whatever. We'll bring him down.
Well, listen. I got to tell you this. Super. Like you, a geek when it comes to that, and people still bust my chops and about it, but I don't care. But that being said, I've never wanted to be a wrestler. Just putting it out there because these guys know. I actually always dreamed of being a manager. So I'm just saying.
Well, you still got to take a bump.
Hey, I can do that once.
Hey, everybody has a bump card, Everybody has that bump card, As you get older, you got to lessen those bumps you take.
Okay, guys, let's go to the question of the day from the listeners.
Well, we don't have one yet.
Oh, we don't have one.
We're getting one. Don't worry. Trust me. Give it time. There's people here watching.
Anybody have a question of the day? Let us know. We will. We'll put it out there. Like I said, you can text or call 720-619-0627, and you can get live with Boss Dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, the OG, and Mr. Jesse himself from Apex Championship Wrestling out of New Bern, North Carolina. So, on that note,
so let me ask you a question, since I get this question all the time. What what made you want to become a wrestler? Because I get asked that quite a bit myself. So I'm always curious to hear what everybody else's story is.
Right. I that's actually one of the most common questions amongst all wrestlers, right? To the lowest guy in the indies to the highest guy on the top of the televised programs, what made you want to be a wrestler? Growing up, I was born in '94, so I'm still young, but not young. At least, the gray in my beard doesn't.
Means I'm the oldest guy out here.
But anyway, late '90s, early 2000s. I watched wrestling with my older brother, my cousins. I remember with my brother, he would set up a mattress behind him and let me just, as a little short thing, built nothing, pretend to choke slam him and crossbody and this, because that was our bonding. That was my older brother. As I grew, at first it really didn't click into me because the main thing that was in my head, because my father was in the Army, he was also infantry, he was a sniper, and he goes, I've always said, Dad, since I was 5 years old, Dad, I'm going to join the military. Dad, I want to join the military. That's what I want to do. And then it wasn't until I went into the military, I said, you know what? Because I still love wrestling, I still love watching it. I got to figure out how I get into this. Mm-hmm. So I found Charles just online somehow. And I reached out to him. I said, hey, man, can I come try out? I'd love to do this and do that. He's like, well, we got a show here. If you make it here, I'll give you a tryout. See where you're at. Well, in middle school, I used to train myself, watch all these videos and stuff like that. Because, I thought, and maybe one day, I just don't know. So I get in, he says, do this, do that. I start doing it. He's like, looks at me, goes, hey, man, you got a pretty good basis here. You are not some Joe Schmo who knows nothing about how to do anything coming off the street. And I have to train them from scratch. You know a good number of things. They have to be adjusted slightly, but you know some stuff.
Right.
So that's how it started, so.
And that, that's kind of, it's funny because that's, growing up being with him at all the shows and kind of the same thing like you did, just going there, just learning, just watching. And then as I got into later on, probably I would say 6 years ago now, I got brought up with him to do commentary for a company in Rhode Island. And then, I kind of started to like, well, let's take bumps. Let's hit the mat. It was before, how it goes. Before showtime, you're there hours beforehand. We're outside and it's like, well, it was like, oh, let's get in the ring. And I had my dad, the owner and the booker all together who all ran the roads together. They were all standing there doing, hey, listen, do this, hit the ropes, do this, hit the rope. And it was, it was just kind of just a little bit of what the feel what the feel was.
Right.
And it was once I made that first initial hit against the mat, I kind of right away whether you're meant for it or not.
So
and I hit that mat and I got up and I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? It's like this is kind of what I was meant
right.
for.
That's the feeling.
That was like, that's what it feels like. I'm like, that feels good.
So now we got the question of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on.
We actually have two questions, actually.
Before the question of the day.
Okay.
I think I know what you're getting to, H.
Yes, I see it.
And I'm going to put that up on the screen because this is for you, OG.
OG, this is for you,
and
buddy.
Jesse's going to laugh at this.
Jesse's going to laugh.
I'm reading it. I'm laughing at it.
Well, so no, we have a message through the phone line. So
let's do it.
Yeah,
so
the question of the day. Here we go. Who is your inspiration for wrestling, your signature move, and the worst injury that you received in wrestling?
Go ahead, Jesse. I'll let you answer that.
You go first, and then we'll each the two of us will give an answer.
God, my inspiration for wrestling, man, there is a few. There is honestly a few. I mean, growing up, we've got Kane, Undertaker, The Rock, Big Show, Stone Cold.
I was just gonna say Austin has to be up there.
I mean, some of these the older guys from WCW before it ran out, and some of the older WWE guys. I mean, to me, they were all inspiration. They were all larger than life. It's hard to just pick one for me. As for my signature move, oh boy, I'd have to say it's one of two. It's either kind of the discus clothesline, like Luke Harper did, or the stunner. I'm the kind of guy, I kind of like the simples, the classics. I've actually come up with I've formed my own, signature submission hold. I call this still because, my persona is this backwoods moonshiner dude. And,
that's cool.
So worst injury. I'm going to knock on wood here. I haven't had a horrible injury. But I will say at one point we had a guy during one of our free training sessions. He is a wrestler, but he's never done the snap suplexes, and I hate those. So he went to go give me one, and I landed. They said I landed on my ankles when I went over. I went over so fast. I don't remember feeling it, this and that, but the next day I felt it from my feet to my knees. So yeah.
So wow.
Me, what was the question again?
Who is your inspiration for wrestling, your signature move, and worst injury you received?
So you guys got to remember, I'm a lot older than you guys. I've watched SD Jones. I've worked with SD Jones. I've worked with Mr. Haiti, Tony Atlas, King Kong Bundy. I've worked with them all. Abdullah. So, my inspiration was just watching WWE on Saturday night's main event. And I said, I'm going to Johnny Rod's. I went to Johnny Rod's for a couple months. Then I moved to Texas. I went to the Von Erich school out there. Then I came back to New York, and I hooked up with all the Samoans and went out to Pops and, then I hooked up with Tony Rumble in NWA New England. He changed my whole gimmick. And, my move is either the power bomb or the DDT. And the worst injury I had was in New Britain, Connecticut, at Sports Palace. He got thrown onto the ground. I got power bombed onto the ground, and I woke up the next day. Both my legs were swollen, and they were like beet red. You couldn't even touch them. So
that was burning. He said, "I've heard of Apex. Actually, the more I wake up." He's not awake yet.
So
don't mind him. He's not awake yet.
So the worst thing that I had was my legs. They swelled up like as red as a tomato, and you couldn't even touch them with the heat on them. And to this day, I still get it. It's called phlebitis. That kind of triggered what I had. I was 550 pounds at the time, and now I'm a good, sexy looking 275. Just so y'all know, still got the moves. Anybody wants to get in the ring with me, feel free. Just sign a contract with my man Jesse down there, and we'll make this happen.
So, again, like Jesse, there's so many. I can't name you. It's so hard to name one. I mean, obviously, number one would be going with him and just being around the business with him.
That would be the correct answer, as your father.
Yeah, well, that's always the correct. But, like you said, Jesse, there's so many to name. Just growing up, there's so many to name, and even you know, me being just like you, the wrestling nerd fan, whatever you want to call it, you know, watching the older stuff like Jim Crockett, the AWA, you know, the NWA, the old NWA with when the Road Warriors first came out, stuff like that. You know, there's so many inspirations to add to, and you know, it's so hard to pick, obviously, but we all know who it is.
Right.
Your signature move. I wouldn't say I have a signature move. I would say there's one I'm most known for as of right now.
That's when he threw the guy into the second crowd.
That's when the kid was supposed to take you'll laugh at this story, Jesse, because this kid was supposed to take this kid was supposed to take a power bomb after he took a power bomb from him. He was supposed to take a power bomb from me, and when I lifted him up, he went sideways like this
and
tried to slide down my back, and just as a natural reaction, I went like this, and I caught him in almost like a razor's edge, and then I Hernandez border tossed him almost over the top rope on the other side of the ring and to the floor.
Okay,
the video's great.
You told me this story at one point. Yeah,
it
is a good story.
Yeah, I happened to. I would say that that's probably what I'm most known for at the moment. I won't say it's a signature move because it wasn't really supposed to happen. If that makes any sense to anybody watching, that wasn't really supposed to happen. That's one thing I will say.
Don't forget the text and call 720-619-0627.
The worst injury I've received, thankfully, I can say hasn't really been bad. I think the worst part that hurt was the first match. I decided that I was going to get a little crazy, and I took a running. I didn't deliver it. Another guy delivered it, who's probably built. What is Rock built? Like 260 solid. Decided he was going to run from one post all the way across the apron and do like basically make himself a lawn dart, and landed on me and a couple other guys, and I hit the concrete floor.
And I was already in the locker room.
I hit the concrete floor, except I did one of these and I landed boom on my shoulder and then on my elbow at the same time. So that hurt.
Here's the question of the day. Big names in Apex or guest appearances? Well, I'm going to be a guest.
Hold on, I'm not done. I didn't get to pipe in on this.
All right, pipe in.
Come on. My inspiration for watching wrestling was superstar Billy Graham and The Undertaker. They're my top two. Listen, my signature move is the Stone Cold Steve Austin celebration in the ring, and my biggest injury was pulling my fucking hamstring running to the fridge for another beer. So, listen. You can't exclude me from this.
Yes. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. OG signature move. He pulled a hamstring running to get a beer. My man, OG, my best friend.
What he meant to say was he pulled it getting out of bed. That's what he meant to say.
Nah, it wasn't my hamstring.
Oh,
wait, this is PG. My bad. Overstepped the line. My bad.
Yo, Bernie said, shit, that's why there was an earthquake. Makes sense. Joey fell.
Yeah, I hit that.
I think he had a question before that too, didn't he?
Yeah, so the question he had before that was, are we going to see any big names in Apex or any guest appearances or anything like that?
So Apex is a new company. As mentioned in some of the things, I do have a GoFundMe to crowdfund for a ring.
Yes.
And speaking of ring, while I'm on this topic real quick, I got a hold of somebody that will let me use a ring for free because she told me I am one of two people she will ever trust with that ring.
Wow, fantastic.
Well,
she said,
congratulations,
bro. She said, keep crowdfunding and get you that ring and, do what you got to do, but you can use my ring. I was like,
that's
oh, my
awesome.
God.
That's great.
That's awesome.
spoke, you had some issues trying to get one. So I'm happy you were finally able to get one. Obviously, the GoFundMe link will be, we will post this along with the GoFundMe link on our page for everybody watching. You want to share it around. Let's help him get his own ring, obviously, which is what everybody wants. It does take time, but I think once we put it out there, and I also think once the first show kind of goes off and people see what you're about.
Oh, I'm still trying to get in touch with Rob, by the way.
It'll be quite easy for you to kind of get that moving.
Right. But now back to his question though, because I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
I was gonna go back to his question though, because it kind of went a little off track, but it was good news nonetheless to share. So any big names that may be appearing or in the future or something like that, I'm working on it. There are big names out there that I would love to have on, but for a company that's just starting and doesn't have the funds to pay them just yet, it's not going to happen right away. I mean, you got to think there's some guys out there who say, I'm this much and you're going to have to pay me $7,000 before I even step foot in my own car to go to the airport.
Right.
And then you got to pay me the other half. So it's a work in progress, but in the future, we're going to hopefully have some appearances.
On that note, ring that bell, slam that chair. Let's take our commercial break.
Hold on.
Nice.
He sits on his bed with his gun in his hand. He thinks his life is over, he can't understand. A bottle of whiskey and some pills in the drawer. He doesn't want to hurt himself or hurt anymore. Why must it be this way? Just think it all over and listen to the words I say. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. So take my hand, brother, let's beat this together today. You're not alone. She picks up the clothes that fall loose on the floor. She finds a crumpled letter just behind the door. Begins to read it with tears in her eyes. A horrible feeling takes over inside. Says, honey, can I talk to you? There has to be something that we can do. You are not alone. There are so many people who fight with their demons each day. 'Cause you are not alone. gun in his hand, he puts it away, 'cause now he understands.
Yo, what is up? What is up? We are back here at Turnbuckles and Stogies live on Sunday morning. So, OG,
we had two questions from before, but I want to put one up right now.
And this is for OG.
And this one is really, really more for you, OG. This isn't for us. And Jesse knows exactly what comment I'm talking about because he's seen it. So this one is from a good friend of ours, OG.
Mr. Coop.
And that's for you.
Well, you know what?
Yeah. Go ahead. Try to answer that one.
Hey, I don't know. I tell you what, son, if you wake up from the chair shot, absolutely, you can try to lift me up and put me through a table. That was my best impersonation of Smack Talk. I don't know. Yeah, man, that was. Hey, get me in a ring. Let's see what happens. Why not? I'll take a shot once. I'll probably die, but I got a good healthy insurance policy.
And then he had posted another question. I just lost it. As of right now, who do you feel has the better product, WWE or AEW?
For me,
I'm gonna go out and say this, and not because I'm I've been watching both products. WWE has gotten better since Triple H took over. I will say that the product has gotten really decent. It's still got a ways to go, but they're making good traction and quick. But in my opinion, and people are going to hate me because there's a lot going on with that company right now, but I think AEW has the better product right now. I personally think it's a better product. And I
think right now, I think right now, if you're talking about who's hot, the iron that's hot is AEW right now.
But
I agree, WWE is making traction. That's for sure.
But they're making traction fast. I thought it was going to take a lot longer, but once Triple H took over, you can see when the change happened because the product views started going like this. And then they brought Orton back. They signed Punk. NXT's getting new superstars. They're putting out, last night I watched Deadline. I mean, Jesus. That was but NXT,
great show.
I'm never disappointed with NXT because they always put on a good show. And I think personally, NXT might be developmental, as they call it. I think it's a third brand that they didn't realize was going to be its own separate brand. I think it started out as developmental. And then over the years, it started to gain the traction. And then they did the Survivor Series angle where it was Raw, SmackDown, NXT. And then they went back. They redeveloped like 3 times into different incarnations. And where they are now is, I think, personally, a third brand for WWE under their umbrella.
So, Jesse, tell us about your tentative dates that you have lined up and where they are, and how people can get to, I don't know if you have a website or whatever, how people can purchase tickets and get them out there.
So as of right now, website-wise, I'm trying to create one, but I got to start with the free builders, but every free builder is giving me a hard time with building something. So that might be something I'm going to have to pay somebody down the line to do.
Right.
But as of right now, usually ticket sales I can either do over the phone, through Facebook. I do have a PayPal set up for Apex. I've got Cash App for Apex. So as long as you give me, hey, this is who it's for, when you get a ticket, it will be at a quote unquote will call. waiting for you with your name on an envelope and your seating and stuff like that. So it's mainly over the phone, over Facebook, stuff like that. And I just provide you, hey, you can either pay through Cash App, PayPal, Square, however you want. Well, Square is more in person, but Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, stuff like that. I usually, because I also do leather work as a full-time gig.
Nice.
So I have all the big payment options, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, all that for that as well. So it gives people the option.
SSA, what's up, brother? How you doing? So when is your first show tentatively date?
Let me double look here. The tentative date. I gotta look at my phone calendar because I'm my last name's Polish, so that comes with the brain too.
How many Polish guys does it take to put in a light bulb?
Yes.
He's not even giving you a number. He said yes.
One is screwed in and 3.
My family's still trying to figure that out.
I'm looking at possibly the 25th of May.
Okay.
It gives me enough time to. I've got the venue kind of lined up. I just got to get the funds for that as well, because it is run by the Parks and Recs here. But it's really cool. They got a full gym with locker rooms and separate entrances to get into those locker rooms away from the public, with bathrooms and stuff like that as well. So
nice.
Well, I don't like to get away from the public because the public is what made me what I am today.
No,
well,
but
you know what I mean. I
do know what he's saying. Like,
because I'm gonna tell you,
we could go in the door into the locker room. We don't have to go through the fans, go in the front door. I know what you're saying.
I love walking through the fans because you know what? Without the fans, without the people I paid for the tickets, there's no big dog. So
that's fair, man. That's fair.
I will walk through the fans every day, take pictures, sign autographs, kiss their mother, kiss their kids. I don't care.
No, but I do know what you're saying. Because there have been, like, I know the few places I've done shows, whether it was commentary or whatever, you know, the one place we did a lot of shows for commentary was an outdoor pavilion. And, you know, you pulled up, the wrestlers parked down below where everybody else parked. But see, us being and getting there early, it was up on a hill. So what did we do? We drove the car right up the hill, parked right outside the locker room.
And changed into my car.
And changed outside in the, you know, whatever. I'm like, but, you know, being a commentator, as you know, there really is not a whole lot of dress code except like a polo shirt or a dress shirt. So nobody can see what's underneath you.
Right. I'm the kind of guy that if I were to implement a dress code, it would be more business casual, just to be like, hey guys, because I don't want to take away your creativity and your individuality and stuff like that. You know, you are who you are. Not my job to take that away from you.
Well, a lot of guys are going to show up in shorts.
Oh yeah, but that's how I said. That's me. If I'm going to set a dress code, that's probably what I would go with. Is business,
and that's pretty easy because that's just like a nice looking T-shirt and, you know, a pair of jeans and some shoes or something like that.
And I don't mark out. I don't wear nobody else's shirt but mine. Thank you very much.
I have a little bit of a collection, I will say, of wrestling shirts in my closet because I did at one point in time subscribe to Pro Wrestling Crate, which if anybody hasn't subscribed to that, and I'm not sponsored by them. It's not a shameless. It's just if you haven't subscribe to them, I would suggest at least 1 month because you get a lot of cool shit. You get shirts, you get a little micro brawler like this big, you get a DVD, you get an autographed picture sometimes too. So I will say they do have some cool stuff, but most of the time I usually just show up with, you know, a regular T-shirt or a polo shirt and, you know, some sandals and a pair of shorts, depending on the weather.
Right, because you got to think you want to be comfortable during the car ride too. To these,
right? I wear shorts and Crocs all year, so it doesn't matter. It could be negative.
You sir are in the middle of New York and you wear shorts and Crocs in the winter. You are crazy.
He's out of his mind.
But listen, if it's business casual, he'll put a bow tie in the Crocs. Hey, listen, I wanted to update you on that very important question somebody asked. How many Pollock did it take to screw in a light bulb? I got a text message that says 5. 1 to hold the light bulb, 4 to turn the chair.
Yes.
I mean, hey, you know why Polacks have ski at the end of their last name, right?
Tell me.
I don't know about you, but I can't spell toboggan. And for anybody who's just joining and is this taken out of context, I'm Polish. I've got a Polish last name. But I'm also Irish, Native American, and English. So I'm a drunken idiot who can't hold his liquor, who's constantly.
He ties his shoes the other way. Instead of tying the shoe that's on the ground, he ties the shoe that's up on a chair.
So this one is in reference to your comment earlier, OG.
In the immortal words of the great one.
I will tell you, those chairs are pretty heavy. Those chairs can get pretty heavy when you're swinging them 4, 5, 6, 7 times in a row.
Correct.
So I will tell you, I've tried to pick those chairs up, and it's not. They're heavy
chairs.
They're not aluminum. They're heavy. They hurt.
So let me ask you this, Jesse. So with your federation that you're starting up, Apex Championship Wrestling in New Bern, North Carolina. So are you going to have like some hardcore matches? Are you going to have, like go out there and just do what you guys do? Or are you going to, be like, hey, listen, this is what we want to do, blah, 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 blah.
There will be, hardcore matches. I'm a fan of them. I just don't like to put anything, if I'm going to do it, anything that's going to puncture my skin. I'm not a fan of that unless it's a tattoo.
Well, then we on a different boat, brother, because I'll puncture my skin for whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I like the juice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, right.
But that's different.
Red equals green, right?
Oh, listen. That's how the old saying goes. You know that as well as I do.
Red equals green.
Red equals green, and green equals everybody.
Right. But I do want to implement some hardcore matches, and at some point, actually even get a hardcore title.
That's cool.
But where was I going with this? I just literally lost my train of thought here. Now, so the idea, now that I'm thinking about it now, is I want Apex to have still that family-friendly kind of PG side, but I also want to lead just a tad bit more to that attitude era of wrestling, when wrestling was still wrestling.
Right. And the as well as I do, you want it to lead to where those big payoff matches, of a rivalry or a two guys butting heads, the big payoff is either, as a hardcore match, a ladder match, a tables match. That's that old school style that I think you're trying to make that. Am I correct?
Right. I want the newer generation to come to these shows and go, wow, wrestling, really cool. But I also want the older generation, my generation older, and go, this is freaking nostalgic. I love this.
Right.
So. Well, I think you'll be fine once you start rolling and you start getting into the groove of things. North Carolina is big for wrestling. Down south is big for wrestling. New York is hard to run because you have to hire the athletic commission. You have to hire the doctors.
It's a little hard to run. It's not hard. It's expensive.
Right.
Pennsylvania's the same way with that stuff.
I think you'll be fine down there. I think you'll do good. And, all I can say is I hope that your company goes well. And don't forget to book the Untouchables.
Hopefully we're down there working with you, because I think it'd be a great time for all of us to be in the same spot. I think
remember, you got to go through their manager. Hi, just want to introduce myself.
I told you, listen, you're going to have one job. You're going to have one shot. Don't fuck it up, kid.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. He said, don't fuck it up, kid.
Hey, listen, I don't know. An announcer can get involved, right?
Sure. An announcer can take 4 or 5 bumps. Sure.
If you can catch me.
A table we can use.
Listen.
Listen, we'll just get a door.
I got some pain medicine for you. Don't worry about it.
I'll put him through a door.
If you can catch me, for a fat guy, I can run.
Oh, so can I. So just once I catch you, I can't promise it won't hurt.
and you can't wear your glasses, brother.
Glasses? You would? Why? Would you hit a guy with glasses?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Jesse, we don't care in the wrestling world. Get a guy with glasses, get a guy with bifocals, whatever you want.
Look at Harvey Whippleman. He got his ass whooped with the glasses on.
Yeah, that poor bastard.
So I just got the cue. We got about 5 minutes left.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you are live here with Turnbuckles and Stogies, the Boss Dog, Big Dog, the Vanilla Gorilla, the OG Cigar Tender, and the CEO and founder of Apex Wrestling, Championship Wrestling out of New Bern, North Carolina. Make sure you go to his GoFundMe page. It's posted up in the comments and help him out. He's a vet. And guys, we appreciate y'all coming on.
Yes, we do.
Listen, Jesse, you got my number. Hit me up.
Hopefully, and I know this won't be the last time we have you on. I know as we get closer and, more things come out and more talent is booked and stuff like that, I can almost guarantee you that we'll have you back on for part 2 so we can promote the show and you can kind of give a background on what's going on. Maybe we'll play them some promo clips, whatever we got going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Jesse, I got a quick question for you. Would there be any possibility of Turnbuckle doing a podcast live from one of your shows?
I mean, there's always a possibility for anything, man.
Fantastic.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday. We'll see y'all guys next week.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Next week, we're doing a 2-part series. We got my man Derek Dukes on D3. We're going to do a 2-part series. And the following week on the 17th.
No, that's Saturday. We'll be taping those on Saturday. Those will be dropping on Christmas and New Year's. We'll still be here with you guys. We just won't be live, obviously, because of the holidays. But on the 17th, on Sunday, we have Kevin from Cigar Prop will be joining us
Trash
live.
Panda Cigars.
Come hang out with us next week. And then after that, you'll see 2 recorded episodes, and we'll be back the week after New Year's.
Guys, on that note, the Turnbuckles and Stogies and Apex Championship Wrestling, have a good night. Peace out.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes.